When you started playing drums, first of all, when did you start playing drums?
Oh, well, actually, piano was my first instrument.
Okay.
And it took my grandmother when I was like 5 years old. And my mom was cooking in the kitchen. And my mom was such a disciplinarian on the piano that every time I tried to go to play the piano, she was like, "You're not practicing your scales." And it just freaked me out because I was like, I just want to play the piano. I don't want it to be so strict, please. You know?
Yeah.
And so because she was so strict, I gave it up. I still played it in like my private time, like when she wasn't looking around. Okay, she ain't in there. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're safe.
Yeah, that safe space, right? But what I ended up starting to do, and this was a great conversation, because I had this conversation with Gonzalo Rubalcaba, amazing, probably arguably one of the world's best piano players living today. We have kind of like a similar experience because he started with classical percussion. And then he moved to piano, and I started with piano, and I moved to percussion. But I enjoyed when I was hearing my mom cooking in the kitchen, like, when you grow up in the South, I'm from Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
It's a way about the way that Crisco oil would hit that skillet, and it would just be popping.
Yeah.
And it just made a sound, stuff was frying, and, pop, 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 and people getting burnt and all that kind of stuff. It made sense to me, so I would try to emulate that on the pots and pans while my mom was cooking. I would just sit on the floor. And it just happened to be one day when my grandmother was there. She saw something, and she told my mom, she was like, "I think he wants to play drums." And my mom was like, "No, he doesn't. He wants to play piano, blah, blah, blah." We're already working on it. My mom, she's just beautiful, just super disciplined, and, if she's told to stick to a certain path, she rides it all the way.
Yeah.
Until you can have communication about it, and then, hopefully she can navigate into a different course. But it was so beautiful that my grandmother was open to say that to her, because what ended up happening was my uncle, who's actually a trumpet player, he knew of this great drum instructor who I feel like now is like the mecca of drum instructors, because his name is Mr. Craig Green. And I call him like the Buddha teacher of the drums, because he not only taught me, but he taught Chris Dave, Jeremy Dutton, Kendrick Scott, Jamari Williams, Mark Simmons, Sebastian Whitaker, like all these great Houston drummers. The tandem, we all came from him, and he's featured on the Jamie Foxx, I guess he was pretty much the interpreter, this documentary that's called The Thunder of Soul. And so The Thunder of Soul is basically the Kashmir Gardens jazz band. And in that time, in the 70s, it just kind of wasn't heard of, because me and my wife, we were fortunate to go, Chris Dave and everybody, Robert Glasper, Beyonce, Jason Moran, Walter Smith, Mike Moran, it's a whole bunch of us. We all went to the same high school that was Performing Arts High School.
Wow.
So when Kashmir Gardens was starting their stage band, a Performing Arts High School hadn't truly been implemented yet. It was just iconic, and it was before its time. And but also I bring props to, we call them props, but Conrad Johnson, because not only did he do that, but he started this, a way for young, jazz artists, whatever you was trying to do, to be a part of a jazz camp when you was like 10, 11, 12 years old. And they were just teaching you jazz standards. And the thing is, when you learn it that early, it really becomes a part of your, your own, you can't say, I guess you can say anatomy, but it's not really anatomy, but it is anatomy because it's in your body. Because once music is in your body, then you can actually really play it from an honest source, versus really trying to read it.
Yeah.